Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you for joining me here. I hope you had a wonderful day and had a great weekend. Let's take a quick look here at Ethereum, see what's going on. Still a big pile of poop, it looks like. We can see the price action has since recovered to fill majority, if not all of its CME gap. Let's go ahead and double check and see. It does look like that has effectively been filled. There's just a $10 increment left remaining there. So we'll just go ahead and mark that as complete because honestly, that does look like we've filled that. So that's good news in a lot of ways, basically implying that now that has been satisfied or swept, the price can pull back naturally. And at this point too, we can see locally, the price action is basically 1760 was a local low. We almost double bottom slash hit that same exact level at 1765. So at this point, we are in a weird situation. I'm hypothetically guessing that we're going to see some type of range here, and the price will either pull back as per usual, that's how it's supposed to work, to sweep its lower liquidation range, or may even just recover from there with extra volume. But unless we see more volume flowing into this coin, there's no reason to expect anything otherwise. So I don't really like shorting these kind of levels because I feel like we're so close to the bottom that the price should very well recover from here. But I'm also not being like ridiculously optimistic and telling you that we're going to shoot to the moon from here too, because this coin is a big pile of trash. So at this point, what I want to do is double check some liquidation ranges here, kind of see where we're at. We are getting closer to an upper liquidation range here. There's some liquidation 1860 to roughly 1875. So you can say between here and 1900, there is some local liquidation. But when we look at the macro here, there's just way too many longs in the market, and market makers know this. They're going to go ahead and push the price down further. So I think statistically, you're going to find more luck or benefit, however you look at it. Just the odds of success are going to go up by shorting this coin versus taking longs. And part of the reason why that is the case because we have such a high liquidation delta that there's no reason to try to take a long into this. I mean, you got $7 billion worth of shorts above you. Why try to take a long into that? It makes very little sense. Now, keep in mind, market makers know this. They're going to eventually sweep these levels here. So if we see a fake out towards the $1,900 to $2,000 range, those are decent considerations for shorts. But between now and then, I think it's a little premature, a little too early to long and way too late to short. It's just my personal thoughts for the moment. So let's go ahead and take a look at open interest, see if there's anything kind of telling here. We can see there are some concentrations below the price. So people are adding to their positions at 1800, 1820, and even as low as 1780. So, I mean, from a spot bag perspective, this is good DCA target material. I got in at 1800. It was nice to get that little bit of a fill. So, I'm still adding to this coin. Honestly, it's one of my few spot bag or few trading pairs I have in my spot bag for long term. It's going to have to be super long term. In fact, by the time I retire, it'll probably be at 2,500. This is kind of a running joke if you're familiar with Ethereum and just how stupid and ridiculous the price action is. Like, all the gains consistently go right back to square one. So anyways, I still feel like it's a good value between 1,500 to 2,000, just mainly because there's a macro point of control in the $1,700 range. And I think that that's probably going to be somewhat of a bottom there for us. So let's take a look here at the daily and kind of see what's going on here. There's nothing much that's changed here since we last looked at this. We're below all moving averages. We're under 50 on the RSI. MACD is soon to diverge here. A lot of reasons why the price is more likely to go lower. That's just a simple way to understand it. Now let me go ahead and remove this CME gap. We've already clarified that's done. We do have massive liquidation to the downside left remaining. So just kind of be mindful of that. Let's go ahead and remove this guy here. Okay. Cool. So now that we have this here, I mean, what do we want to look at? Well, the important thing to recognize is key level resistances, because if the price comes back up, where's it going to reject out? Well, we can see here 1866, which is concurrent with our open interest above the price. We had some previous open interest a little bit here locally at 1850, kind of just reinforcing that resistance at 1860. So hypothetically, we don't see the increased amount of volume, the price goes higher from here. That would be a good consideration either for a short or just a take profit target for a long that you may have open irresponsibly, something along those lines, right? And then of course, if the price comes up and breaks through that level, we may actually see a bullish backtest of that level to push a little higher. But just know our local range here, 1890 to 1920, that's the local point of control. That's the place in which you want to consider shorting, okay? So me personally, I'm going to be leaning more towards a short in that range, just based on the overall sentiment here being very terrible, unless Bitcoin successfully removes its head from its ass, as I like to say, as a kind of a funny thing. we're going to see Ethereum continue to go lower. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if Ethereum still gets stuck on stupid under 2,000 and Bitcoin goes to 100K. I wouldn't be surprised by that. It's just a very poor coin. And I think it's manipulated in the sense of, look who is look who founded it, right? That's just a prime example of just how ridiculous it is. Anyways, conversation for another day. It's not a fundamental analysis, but overall, I think you're probably better off leaning more towards shorting this coin in the relative near future versus taking longs. If we do see longs, or sorry, this area of interest, just say 1910, we see a daily closure above 1910. We have a lot of volume to sustain that. Bitcoin's at 87 to 100 to 90,000 roughly. That would be a consideration to take a long, right? So just know it's not really a good position right now. And hindsight's 2020, but like we did actually, so what Bitcoin, XRP, these are shorts over the weekend, but we did actually take profit from CRSUI. Those are longs. We took some shorts here from Ethereum. Sorry, actually, that was a long from Ethereum last week. I'm sorry, I misspoke. It was like a long from 2,000 to 2,100. So there is still meat on the bone. You can still take some profit, but that had a lot more confluence than we have right now. And you don't just want to jump into a trade in the blind. And you're basically just shooting in the dark right now if you're taking a long. It's not very sensible. Once more, the price will probably pump as soon as I upload this. That's just how it works. But I hope you found benefit regardless, and recognize that from a trader standpoint, somebody who's been trading for over 20 years in all markets, this is not the kind of position you want to take a long into. If you insist on that low leverage, low position size, make sure you're not overdoing it, because God only knows how awesome those people are that post results online when the trade is either incomplete or they used $1, but they're trying to show their 500% gains to show how good they are. That's just, don't do that. Trade for you, trade for your portfolio, and if you care about it, you wouldn't take irresponsible trades, right? Okay, cool. Join us over on Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. That is linked down below. I have playout charts and technical fundamental stuff there as well. Keep in mind too, future reference, Bitunix, phenomenal exchange. If you're using my link to register or have in the past, you're part of our community. Just take advantage of this benefit here. I believe there's a reward center. You can find all this information. Use the link down below if you're curious about it. Okay, hope you have a good one. Thanks again for your time. We'll see you again soon. Take care.